Well, good morning, everyone. Okay, Dr. Putney, thank you back there. But we're going to do that again, right? This is a group of educators. I'm a former high school band director, so I'm used to both yelling at people and having them yell back at me. So let's try that again. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Perfect. Oh, that was perfect. Nicely done. We're off to a good start. First of all, welcome so much, and thank you so much for being here for our fourth annual Summit on Nevada Education. When we first envisioned this event, we hoped to bring together a diverse group of stakeholders. In fact, our hope was we would bring together stakeholders who might even disagree or have conflicting views about the best way to solve the education-related problems we have in Nevada. I think we've been very successful at doing that. The diversity of this crowd, the folks who I was able to say hello to this morning, I think is indicative of the fact that we do bring multiple voices together. And we do that in a way that I hope is respectful of a variety of those perspectives. I want to make sure I follow my script because Sheila will sort of chastise me if I don't. I have a quote for you, and some of you will have read this before. If you find yourself traveling through Nevada's pointed southern tip, look around. Along with the towering rust-hued rock formations and the Las Vegas Strip, you might catch a glimpse of the face of the nation's future. That was in the New York Times in June 2017, as they did a long story about the changing demographics and economics of the U.S. In that article, they noted that Clark County of today is very, very much as we can expect the U.S. of 2045 to be. That gives us a real opportunity, and some of you have heard me say this before, it gives us a real opportunity that the issues we're dealing with now are the issues other folks will deal with in the future. To the extent we can inform and improve and advance what we do now, it has implications not just for our own students in our own state, but for students, I would argue, not just around the nation, but around the world. It's a huge responsibility, but it's also a huge responsibility. I do hope that events like this, where we bring folks together, hear some things that perhaps we may not even agree with, or that may make us uncomfortable, force all of us to think about things in ways that we might not otherwise. I will repeat something that I've said every year so far. The goal is not to leave today with a to-do list or the answer. I would argue there probably is no answer. The goal, and I would challenge each of us, is to listen with an open mind, consider carefully particularly things that we find uncomfortable or initially disagree with, in an attempt to blend ideas that currently exist into new ideas that have not existed before, to find solutions as we move forward. As we start the day, I do want to extend thanks to our sponsors. Silver State Schools Credit Union has already been recognized. Nevada Public Radio was recognized. I would add to that list Wynn Resorts. Todd Mason, I believe, is here somewhere from Wynn Resorts. CCSD, that has been a wonderful partner for the College of Education over multiple decades, and Opportunity 180. Thank you all for your support, and I would ask that we recognize those sponsors, please. Now, in the vein of experimentation and hopefully innovation, we're going to try something a little different as we introduce or recognize distinguished guests today. Right? I've always hated those long lists of people who end up being introduced and stand and we clap and so forth and so on. So we're going to try something a little different. We're going to play a little game. Oh, yeah, okay, that prompted a little response. That's good. As you are introduced from this list, I'm going to ask you to stand so that we can recognize you. And then I'm going to ask you to participate in a game that I am supposed to start by pressing a button. Vanna was busy today. So we're going to do this virtually instead. As you're introduced, I would ask that you stand so we can recognize you, and then I'm going to ask you to give us a vowel or a consonant as we try to guess the phrase that's on the screen. Right? But let me reiterate as we start this: innovation requires taking risks, and sometimes those risks don't work out the way you think they will. So let's see what happens. First of all, from the Nevada State Senate, Joyce Woodhouse, Senator Woodhouse. And your letter? M. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Also from the Nevada State Senate, Senator Mo Dennis. Senator Dennis? Way in the back. Your letter, Senator? T. T. Isn't somebody supposed to say big money, right? I've never seen the show, but I think I've heard that phrase. Also from the state Senate, returning state Senator Marilyn Dondero Loop. Marilyn? And your letter? Oh, nicely played. E? From the Board of Regents, Regent Kathy McAdoo. Regent McAdoo? Your letter? N. Oh, wow, very nice. Anyone think you know the phrase yet? Okay, well, don't tell me yet, right? So, because I still have more people to introduce. We got to. Also from the Enchi Board of Regents, Regent-elect Carol Del Carlo. A. Was that Senator Dondero Loop? Now, you just be quiet for a minute. Just hold off. Actually, I misspoke. Regent Del Carlo is not newly elected. I apologize for that. We do have a newly elected regent, Regent Laura Perkins. Regent Perkins. An O? Okay, good. From the American Association of Colleges for Teacher Education, Vice President of Membership, Events, and Special Projects, I will tell you that is our major professional organization nationally, Mr. Matt Wales. Matt? I. Very nicely done. I earlier introduced and you heard from our provost, Diane Chase. Provost Chase, would you like to give us a letter?
So many choices.
D. Good. Chief Marketing Officer and Vice President of Brand Integration for UNLV, Mr. Vince Alberta. Vince, I didn't see you come in. He's hiding, so someone gets a free letter. UNLV Foundation Trustee, Dan Tuntlin. Dan? There he is, Dan. A letter? V for Nevada. Good. We're narrowing it down. CCSD superintendent and someone who you will hear from again shortly, Dr. Jesus Jara. Dr. Jara? C. Okay, we're getting there. President and Chief Executive Officer, Grant a Gift Autism Foundation, and good friend of mine, Ms. Terry Janison. Terry? You. Very nice. Executive Director, Teach for America, Las Vegas Valley, Mr. Sean Parker, also a good friend of mine. Sean? W. How many people think they know what it is now? What if I told you it's actually in Russian? No. And last but not least, Director of the Department of Youth Development and Social Innovation for the City of Las Vegas, Dr. Lisa Morris Hibbler. Dr. Hibbler. Don't see her. All right, anybody want to take a guess at what the phrase is? I believe that is correct, yes. All right, so at some point you can let me know. Sorry about that, Danielle. There are lots of folks here this morning who probably bear introduction. A couple of groups of those folks I want to make sure I recognize right now. Through cooperation and assistance of CCEA, the Clark County Education Association, we have about 24 teachers who were able to be here today. I would just ask those folks to stand up so we can recognize you, please. And a group of folks who I am honored every day to be a member of and colleagues with, our faculty and staff from the College of Education. Folks, if you would stand, I would appreciate it, please. Well, again, thank you all for being here. Southern Nevada, as we all know, is dealing with the economic, community, workforce, and educational issues and opportunities that will be faced by virtually every part of the country over the next 25 to 30 years. While Las Vegas is not alone in its quest to effectively educate in an urban environment, the characteristics of the valley produce a context in which the multiple factors that affect urban education are magnified. The issues of poverty, language differences, even the availability of highly qualified educators are exacerbated in ways that are unique to our community. But they are also indicative of the issues that virtually every part of the country and many parts of the world will have to address in the years ahead.